welcome back to Mount Rainier National Park. I'm working my way up the Pinnacle Peak Trail with hopes of, well, to be honest, I don't have any hope for an epic sunset picture, but I do have some hope for either some atmosphere or maybe some late afternoon filtered light. But this trail is near paradise, and for the last few videos anyway, I've been on the sunrise side of the park, which is the eastern side. The reason being is sunrise is only open about 3 or 3.5 months out of the year, and the rest of the time it's closed due to snow. But a little bit winded here, 5,000 feet or maybe 5,100 feet, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and got about 1.5 miles or so up to the saddle, and from there I will do some scouting around. Well, I'm almost to the saddle here. It's about 200 yards up the trail. I've put on my jacket because when I left the parking lot it was 54 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what, 12 degrees or so Celsius if my rough calculation is correct. There's really not going to be any light today, and so what we lack in light we need to make up for in atmosphere and composition. And so coming up the trail here, I stopped, took my pack off, got my camera out, because looking to the west here, there was a nice layering with 2 different ridges, and another saddle in the distance that I believe is between Lane Peak and if this is Pinnacle, Castle, Wapaneo. Anyway, this is the Tatoosh Range, and so the next saddle over was catching some light. But it's completely socked in now, and so I am going to wait here and just to see if by chance these clouds clear. This is kind of like the experience that I had when I was at Skyscraper Peak. If you didn't watch that video, I'll link to it here. That evening was worse than this evening. It was completely white out, no visibility whatsoever, and I was just kind of waiting on the composition to show itself. I'm doing that here, but I think I will get a break, because there's I'm seeing right now there's actually no clouds in the valley and things are moving up. Well, patience pays off. I got the shot. I'm liking the composition. Again, no light whatsoever, but there's enough clouds, enough atmosphere to make the composition interesting. I do like the layering. I like the trees in the mid and foreground, and if you notice when I show you this picture, if you notice the shape of the line of pine trees actually mimics the shape of the mountain in the background. So really liking this, making the most of what I can, and it's starting to sprinkle rain. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to head on up trail. Well, let me give you an update. So this is the saddle down here below, and the peak behind me here is Plummer Peak. And so I'm about halfway up to the summit of Plummer Peak, on the ridge and looking down the Tatoosh at Pinnacle Castle, and you can't see Unicorn in the distance. But today, as I said, is a atmosphere day. So it really doesn't matter the time. I came here for sunset, but there's not going to be any sunset color. So it's all about the timing, and it's all about capturing that atmosphere and how it brings emotion into the scene. So got a nice composition here with some foreground interest of some heather and these rocks that are really kind of anchoring the scene, and then the ridge on the left third. I'm really liking the composition. I'm just going to stay here for a little bit and watch for some different atmosphere. Well, a quick update. I've pulled out the shower cap and put it over the camera. It helps keep the camera dry, but more importantly, it helps keep the front of the lens from getting any water droplets on it. The problem when it's cool outside, like today, cool and moist, is that when you have a lens cap and you put it in your pocket and it's nice and warm, you stick it on the front of the lens will fog up. And when it comes time to take the shot, you'll take the lens cap off, and your composition will be foggy because your lens is fogged up. So this is a better way to do that. Just take a shower cap. They're super cheap. Drape it over the camera and just wait. I'm shooting this at f/14 because of depth of field. I'm focused on the foreground. I've got everything focused. I'm just waiting on the composition to set and the clouds to clear. But other than that, I'm just going to wait it out, and whatever picture I'm happiest with, I'll show you right now. Woo. Well, this is the summit of Plummer Peak, 6,300 feet or so. It's one of the prominent peaks in the Tatoosh Range in Mount Rainier National Park. So I was here for the landscape photography down below, and I've actually never been to the summit of Plummer Peak, so I thought since I was already halfway to the summit, why not run up and scramble the summit block. There's just some amazing views from up here. I can actually see part of Mount Rainier. There's lots of clouds in the valley. I don't know if there's a composition here, but I will take a look around. But yeah, why not bag a summit when you're out for an afternoon, or now 5:30, afternoon, early evening landscape photography. Sunset isn't till 7:30, so I've got plenty of light to get back down. I would not want to do this summit block in a headlamp, so I'll take a quick scout, see if I find any compositions here. If not, that's okay, and we'll see what happens next. Like I said down low, there's not going to be any light today, so whatever we lack in light, we need to make up for in composition and atmosphere. And one way to make up for atmosphere There's a light breeze right now, and as you've seen throughout the video, there's plenty of clouds. And so one option to create even more atmosphere and make up for that lack of light is to use an ND filter. Gone ahead and dropped in a 10-stop neutral density filter, and that takes me from an exposure of 1/40th of a second to an exposure of 45 seconds. And that allows me to get that feathery look of the clouds coming over the ridge. Now, the clouds are pretty much staying in the same spot. I thought about stacking ND filters to get an even longer exposure, but that would be something like 8 minutes, and I don't know that that I would get a lot more out of that. But I've already taken the shot, and I'm going to take another one. I'm shooting this at f9, focused on the near ground, focused on the mid-ground ridge. So this composition is also a framing composition. So rather than layers, I have 2 peaks here, and I believe Lane Peak and Wapaneo, and a natural saddle or col between them, and then I think Eagle Peak in the background. But the ridge to Eagle Peak is catching a lot of clouds, and that's where the movement is happening. And so this saddle in the midground frames Eagle Peak quite well, and I can use both mountains to actually block the image on both sides. There's some wonderful green and starting to be orangish fall color in the meadow below the ridge, and so I'm really liking this composition. I'm going to go ahead and take one more at 45 seconds, and let me know what you think. Well, I guess that's going to do it from here, ending up on the summit of Plummer Peak in the Tatoosh Range in Mount Rainier National Park. I've gone ahead and packed up my stuff. I've put my camera away. I need to put away my tripod and then work my way down the little bit of a scramble back down to the trail. I got about 1.5 mile walk out. There still should be plenty of daylight, so hopefully no walking out in the dark. But today's been interesting. I've had to tap into my creative side a little bit more and try to use the atmosphere in absence of light, but it's been actually really fun. So I hope you also enjoyed it. Got some clouds moving in behind, so I do want to scurry along quickly and get down the scramble route back down to the trail. So once again, thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I always appreciate the thumbs up. And if you want to continue to get updates as I develop and learn as a landscape photographer, then at least consider hitting that subscribe button. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.